everybody, you're watching 13 Moons Homestead. My name is Lynette. Today I decided to do a collaboration challenge that was put out by Along the River Homestead, and I'll link them below so you can go watch. There's probably going to be a playlist of these. We're doing 10 random facts about me. So things that you wouldn't necessarily pick up from any of my videos. It's sort of a get to know you exercise a little bit. I had a hard time choosing 10 random things that it's hard to decide what you think other people might want to know about you, even in making videos. But at least I know when when people are coming to see my videos, that they're coming to see, you know, homesteading, gardening, and livestock raising, all that kind of thing that we're working to build here. But this one was a little weirder, but I made a list. I have my list here. So we're going to go through 10 random facts about me. The number one fact about me is my dad has always, and still does, call me Pumpkins. It's his nickname for me. Apparently, even as a very young child, I loved all things pumpkin, and he started calling me that, and it kind of stuck. I still love all things pumpkin. Of course, when I was a child, there wasn't, you know, every September didn't bring a glut of pumpkin everything. It was mostly just pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving, but it was like my favorite thing. Now I really do love pumpkin pies, any other kind of pumpkin dessert, you know, pumpkin spice flavored, you know, lattes and all of that kind of thing. And he still calls me Pumpkins. As a matter of fact, I think if he called me by my regular name, I'd be concerned. The number two fact about me is I don't have a favorite color. I am an indie dyer, which means that I put color on mostly wool, yarns, and fibers that people spin into yarn. That is my business, and I love color, but I really love all color. I don't have one favorite color, but I do go through what I call color moods. So for a season, I may be like really into burnt orange or a certain like moss green or something, and then it will pass and something else will rise to the top. So I don't have one favorite color. When I was a kid, I would have said it was purple probably, and that I really hated green when I was little, but I actually don't now. You know, things change as you grow. And the number three fact about me is in the Myers-Briggs typology, I am an INFJ personality type. I really feel like personality is a misnomer here, because really when you take this test, it's a series of questions to find out your Myers-Briggs type. They place you into one of 16 different types, and then within each of those types there's 4 letter designations, and on each of those letter designations it's a scale. So it's not like they're pigeonholing an entire, you know, population into 16 types. They're just kind of the general guideline, and then there's nuances under that. But it's really not about your personality. It's really about how you think, and how you take in information, how you organize it in your brain, and then how you then use that information to exact everything that you do in your daily life. It's something that I learned about some time ago when my husband first had to take the tests as, you know, part of getting hired for jobs, and then he actually went on to further training in a program called Six Sigma, and learned quite a lot more about it. It's been a really useful thing in my life to learn about the different personality types and how the typology, Myers-Briggs typology, works, because it helps me understand how other people are thinking, which helps me understand so much more about them and about how they work in the world, and, you know, why maybe they're doing certain things that maybe don't make sense to me because it's not how I would do it. It's been endlessly useful in my life, and I really recommend looking it up and learning about it a little bit. It's very helpful. The number 4 thing about me is that I have 2 tattoos. One of them is on the inside of my left wrist, and I got it on one of our wedding anniversaries. It's a Celtic love knot, and it was to celebrate our anniversary. And my husband would have gotten one too, but he's not able to get tattoos because he has problems with keloid scarring. So I have to wear it for the both of us. My second tattoo is on my right calf on the side, and it is a dragon sitting on top of a ball of yarn and knitting a scarf. It was symbolic when I got it at the time of this new part of my life that was developing. I was starting fiber arts businesses. I was working in a yarn shop for a while. The community that I was getting into was a knitting and spinning community, and at that time in my life they were my community. That was my only community, and it was super important to me. So that tattoo was just kind of symbolic of moving into a new portion of our lives, which I'll probably tell the story of another time. It's a long story and kind of complicated and probably deserves its own video. And I will include pictures of both of these tattoos. It's not convenient for me to show them from this position with the cameras. The number 5 thing about me is that I am an empath. If you're an empath too, you probably already knew this about me. And if you're just an intuitive person, you might have realized on some of my videos, if I'm talking about things that are emotionally charged, even in a good way, that even sometimes my editing can't edit out all of the expression from the emotions that I feel, because I feel not only my own emotions, but the emotions of everybody who is around me. It can be very overwhelming. I tell people up front when I'm getting to know them that I cry a lot. I cry when I'm happy, I cry when I'm sad, I cry when I'm angry. I cry when things are beautiful. I feel so much all the time, all around me, that it can be very overwhelming. And it's part of the reason that I am very much an introvert. When I'm in a group of like-minded people that I'm very comfortable with, I can seem very extroverted. Because the emotions aren't overwhelming me. Everything is comfortable. But most of the time, going into crowded places is difficult for me. Whether it's a party, even with people I know, or if it's, a mall, or, a concert or whatever. Those things are, choosing to do those kinds of things is a very calculated thing for me. I have to prepare myself to be able to deal with all the different energy that is around. The number 6 random fact about me is that I have lived in a lot of places. I grew up in northwestern Pennsylvania in a little town called Edinburgh. It's about 20 miles south of Lake Erie, up in the northwestern corner. It's a little college town, and I lived there for most of my childhood until I graduated high school and got married. And from there, we've moved a lot. We moved for college, and then we moved for jobs, and then we moved for family, and then we moved for jobs, and it's all been within the United States, but we've lived in Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, back to Pennsylvania, Indiana, Washington, and now Oregon. And Oregon is where I think we probably want to be. Anywhere in the Pacific Northwest is probably fine, but we really have an affinity for Oregon in particular. The number 7 fact about me is when I was in middle school and then in high school, I played flute. I was in the band, and then in high school I also played piccolo. We did marching band, concert band, and then the last 3 years of high school I also did jazz band. I haven't picked up a flute in a really long time. I would probably have to spend a little bit of time relearning how to read the music again, and play, how the proper fingering for different notes and stuff. I could play it. I just wouldn't remember which notes I was playing. It would take me a little bit of time. The number 8 thing about me this one time in band camp is that's where I met my current husband. We met in high school band camp. We really did. It's a huge joke, but it's not a joke, it's real. I went into my freshman year of high school. I was playing flute, and we went in for marching band practice 2 weeks ahead of when the school year started, because you have to learn all the field drills and how to march and all of that stuff. And I was a freshman, he was a senior, and the only reason we met at all is because a friend of mine who played clarinet, by the end of band camp, was wanting to go on a date with her section leader, who was a senior, who played clarinet, and she was not allowed to date alone. She was only allowed to go out in groups. So he said, well, I have a friend and you have a friend, let's hook them up and then we have a group. So that's how that happened. I met my husband, who was a trumpet player at the time. Even though he was a senior, he was only 2 years older than me because he skipped a grade in school. So I was 14 and he was 16 years old. And we have been together ever since that first date. We actually went to the local university to watch a marching band exhibition that our school was not participating in for whatever reason. I'm not sure why we weren't marching, but that's what we went for. Oh gosh, it's been a long time. We dated for 4 years. I graduated high school, turned 18 in June, and then in July, right after my senior year, we got married. So we've been married, we just passed our anniversary since 1991. So I think we're at 28 years married, 32 total, something like that. Over half of our lifetime, more than half of our lifetime. The number 9 thing about me is that I used to, when I was a kid, want to be a writer. I really thought I was going to be an author. I was good, and I'm still pretty good at writing and telling stories. It was kind of easy for me, and then when I actually learned the skills behind doing it well, it became that much easier. And I really thought that I was going to be a writer, but back when I was first married and I had little children, I was actually trying to be a writer. I did not want to go to college at that point in time, and I took a correspondence, like snail mail correspondence writing course, and I did fairly well in it, but it was not a time where people were really self-publishing, and I just was not breaking into, getting published, and I kind of dropped it by the wayside, and eventually did decide to go to college and got an associate's degree in preschool education. I had originally started in a bachelor's degree for elementary education and quickly learned that I want nothing to do with a classroom full of 8-year-olds. But the little kids I could handle, so I did the preschool education. It was a shorter program. I'm never going to use, I used it with my kids. We have 4 kids, and I homeschooled them, so I used what I knew at home with my children, but I want nothing to do with working in or running a preschool. At this point, my kids are older now. They range from 19 to 27, and I'm waiting for grandkids, but other than grandkids, I don't want to care for other people's children. That it makes me tired even just thinking about that. I don't know why I chose that as a major. I suppose I could go back to school now and major in something different, but I just don't see the point. My husband makes good money. I don't need to work if I don't want to, and I have my own business now. If I took anything, it would probably be business related. And maybe I'll do that at some point. I generally find that having a degree is less important these days than having experience when you're looking for employment. So I don't know. I mean, things change in life. You never can tell. The number 10 thing about me, the last fact, is everybody, when you are first meeting people and getting to know people, you kind of put your best foot forward, and you're on your best behavior and everything. And then people usually, as they get to know me, if they become friends and we're spending a lot more time together, they are sometimes shocked to find that I actually am very sarcastic a lot of the times. I can have a slightly dark sense of humor, and I do swear and cuss sometimes. I don't overuse it, but I really do, and I think this goes back to being a writer thing, and just really being invested in people getting some sort of an education. I feel like all words have meaning and value if they're used correctly, and they're not overused, and they're not used to harm people. But well-placed swear words in appropriate situations, I think, are very useful. But people are always shocked the first time they hear me swear. Like, I've had them gasp before and kind of recoil, like I didn't realize, And it doesn't make me any different of a person. I'm still a kind person. I still usually am a generous person. I try to be, and I'm still going to treat people with respect and use all language appropriately. At least I try to. I can't say that I never screw that up, but that is my goal. That is 10 random facts about me. There's other things I'd like to tell you guys about at some point, but some of them really deserve their own story, I think. So as we go along, I'll probably do some more of these videos. But right now, this is a collaboration that's going around that started in a group of YouTubers that I'm in on Facebook. So I will link Along the River Homestead. And I'm not sure if she's putting together a playlist of these. If not, then I may put one together. So if you're a YouTuber and you're going to do this collaboration also, let me know down in the comments, and I will put together a playlist or send your links to Along the River so she can put together a playlist. So thanks for hanging out with me. We'll see you on the next video.